We're live. What's up, my funky felines? Welcome to the PCHS Gab podcast. This is the first ever podcast that I have even started. This is the first podcast episode of this wonderful podcast, obviously. So, this podcast is going to be centered on our entire school. It's going to be centered on tips and tricks for freshmen. It's going to be centered upon how to survive the best 4 years of your life. It's my wisdom as a senior, basically, to all of you. And if you're a senior listening, you probably know all of this, but hey, you get a kick out of me making a fool of myself. So, let's go ahead and start, I guess. So, a few things I want to do on this podcast is just talk. Obviously, I love talking, but I also want to invite some of you guests. Ooh, train. Sorry, there's a train out the out the window. I want to invite a few of you guys, you PCHS people, onto my podcast. So, if you want to join my podcast, here's what you do. You go onto your Chromebook, you email me at rcuster, poloschools.net. Wait. No. Sorry. rcuster@poloschools.net, or I do have a personal email, which is my entire first and last name, lowercase, rypleecuster@gmail.com. You can email me there. You can be like, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I want to be on the podcast. And I'll correspond with you. If I see you in the hallway, I'll correspond with you. Or if I just email you back, I'll be like, hey, yeah, awesome, perfect. Here's what we're going to do. I have a few people in mind already that I want to interview, teachers included. I will be seeing which teachers I can pull onto the podcast to get some hype up, because I love interacting with our teachers. Our staff are awesome, and there are some classes that I don't take that I'm gonna need more information on, and I want to get that information to you guys because it's very helpful. When I was a freshman joining this school, I had no clue what we were doing. I signed up for my courses in 8th grade, and I just blanked. I completely forgot what I did. I completely forgot what I signed up for. And I ended up, because, they had our meeting, I think they had a meeting with us, and I signed up for my courses, and I had no clue what to put for electives. All I knew is I was definitely doing band, because I am a band kid. I am a theater kid. I'm wearing a patch shirt right now. That's another thing we'll be talking about on the podcast. I will be plugging some clubs. I'll plug some clubs for you guys, hype you up, get you guys interested. I will also be plugging some community things, and some of the things I might be plugging may not be polo oriented, but they are some things that are in the area within our reach that I think are awesome, and I think we should totally hype up. One of the things is the Polo Area Community Theater. Not a lot of people know about it. A lot of people probably don't care. But I think it's an awesome theater. I have been going there since 2019. Given I did take a break because of COVID and all of that from doing plays. And also I wasn't old enough at the time. And there are some plays that they do that are 18 plus and I'm still not old enough to do. But it's still an amazing theater with a bunch of amazing people, and it gives you a real experience on, basically how they would do it on Broadway, only Broadway would be, more strict, I would say, because they're doing it professionally as a job, and yes, some of us are we got a lot of experience under our belt. They're not taking Jimmy off the street who has zero experience to do the lead. No, if there is, some guy who has more experience than Jimmy, they're going to take the guy over Jimmy, but they'll still give Jimmy a chance, and they'll give him a small role to start him out. That's what they did to me. I joined as a little bitty kid, and I did the Rented Christmas, and my whole job was being a little orphan, and I just ran up the stairs when my orphan name was called, and then I sat on the stage. Well, we stood on the stage, we just reacted, we pretended to react to be kids, which wasn't hard, because we're kids, we're explosive, we're awesome. And Yeah, but we're getting off track. That's not the focus of this episode. The focus of this episode not only is to start the podcast, but also give you some wise advice and some wisdom. So, school has not started by the time I am filming this. It is in the middle of June. Well, not in the middle. It is the 4th of June as I am recording this. So this is kind of pre-recorded. That's kind of really how podcasts work. When we get closer to the end of the podcast, I'll start explaining how to start your own podcast because I think it's really fun and I'm learning how to do this. I love learning new things and I think it's awesome that someone should start a podcast. Especially if you're a good talker. Like if you are doing nothing but talking in the middle of class, start a podcast. I know a few people who would benefit from starting a podcast. But that's not the point of this podcast. That's not the point of this podcast. So school is going to be starting up, and one of the big things is school supplies. I know, it sucks. You don't even want to think about it. It's in the middle of summer. You don't want to know what's freaking what you need. But it's an important thing to go over. You're gonna want to know what you need for certain classes. And I have been taking these classes for about 4 years now, so I can help you out. Because I have had this problem of I find a list for school that is posted for us high schoolers, and I end up buying stuff that at the end of the year I end up giving away or just throwing out. Or I'll bring to my room and it'll stay in my room untouched, unused, until finally I just say screw it and I just throw it away. So, I want to save you from that hassle. It's a horrible hassle. It's a waste of money, especially in this economy. Like, I am one of the high schoolers who has a job, and I think about, like, all the things I spend my money on, and I try to save some money as much as I can. So, why not save you some money? So, everybody likes money. Money is awesome. It's also the root of all evil, but we're not talking about that. So, you are probably looking and you're wondering, well, where do I find this so-called list? I don't know. Last year I had to find it for myself, and I don't remember how or why I found it. But if I remember correctly, well, I think what I did was I went onto the Polo website that we have as a school, and I went ahead and I found some sort of, like, list, but it listed it for, like, all the way up to 8th grade, and then it, like, listed a little, and that was it. So then I Google searched what do high schoolers need for school, and it gave me this weird list of, like, things, but, it gave me stuff that I didn't need, was the problem, because, there you go, now you can see me a little better. Hello. Unless you're listening. If you're a listener, we love you. I just had to move my camera down. It gave me a list of things that I did not need or want. So, here's what you do, my funky little felines, my awesome crew, the Gabatrons. Gabatrons? I don't know. I'll find something funny to call you guys. You have to sit down and look at all the classes that you are taking. Some of the classes that you are taking, I have not been in. Like, I have not taken a class with Mrs. Schultz or Mr. Wetzel or Mr. Alston. I haven't touched ag-related classes. And the reason I don't is because it's not something that really interests me. And also, I don't really want to be an FFA. So, if you did sign up for an ag class, you are automatically, like, enrolled into FFA. And I've heard that they take that as your grade too. Like, you have to do stuff in FFA that goes towards your ag grade in the class, which most kids, they're like, whatever, I'm already in FFA, I don't care. But some kids, they're probably like, I just wanted to join the ag class, I just didn't want to do FFA. And honestly, it's not a bad thing. I can see where they're coming from with that. Not only do they get more people to join their club, but it kind of guarantees you some club members. I started a club around my freshman year. Freshman, sophomore year, like a year or two ago, I started our GSA club, and it was really hard finding members, especially because I was coming up, and I go up to people all the time, and I go, hey, you should join GSA, and they're like, I'm kind of busy, or, oh, it's not something that really interests me. And it kind of stings and it sucks. And honestly, it's just what I think they also. I think I was talking to someone and they said it was like a law requirement or whatever, like not a Mrs. Schultz requirement or a Mr. Wetzel requirement, but like they have to do that. That's part of the curriculum or something. Anyways, sorry, I had to take a water break. If you have not drank water today, you should, because water is great. I know what you're thinking. Oh my god, I don't want to listen here because you're drinking water. Okay. But no, water is great. You guys should drink water. I lost my train of thought. I'm probably going to do that a lot. I'm sorry. I'm not particularly fond of people who write down, like, scripts to their videos, because, let's be honest, scripted things kind of suck sometimes. And I don't like scripts, unless I'm doing a show. Like, because you gotta know what to say for the character and all that fun jazz. Anyways, you want to look at the classes that you are going to be taking. For example, I can see my schedule. Like, if you see me looking around in my room, it's because I'm looking at, like, my schedule and all that fun jazz. I also have pictures up on my wall, but I'm looking at my schedule right now. I have it on my wall. My first class that I see is Bio 2 with Mr. Horst. Mr. Horst is awesome. BTW. Mrs. Cole is awesome, too. They're all awesome. So, I remember taking freshman biology, and I had a notebook for that class that I never used. Never. Never, ever, ever, ever in my entire life. He gave you the option to either type or write notes, if I remember correctly, but I just ended up typing all my stuff, so I had a notebook that I wasn't using, or I was doodling in constantly. So, what you're going to need for that class is just bring your pencils, bring your entire pencil case. I have this pencil case that I got off Shein, but I also heard it's on Amazon, and you open it up, and it's got a side pocket. I'm looking and seeing if it's in my room somewhere. Hold on a second. Okay, I found it. So, I have this pencil case. Audio listeners, I'm sorry because you can't see this, but I'm posting these to YouTube as well. So, if you ever want to watch me talk, don't know why. I mean, I don't understand why people like mukbangs either, but so, this is a pencil case I have that I got off Shein, but I've heard it's on Amazon. The tags say Angoo, A-N-G-O-O, but you open it up. I'm going to be careful with mine because I have a bunch of crap in here. You open it up, and there's a little pocket right here. I keep my scissors in it because I have some Kuromi-themed scissors that I just keep in the front pocket. Because honestly, I don't use them a lot, but there are some times in class where I need scissors, so I grab it. And then, again, this is a mess for those who are watching. I have not cleaned it out yet or went through all my school supplies. But then there's a little flap right here where you can keep your pencils and stuff. And then I keep some note cards in there. And then there's a bottom pocket that has all, like, these pens that you can put, like, your pens and pencils in as well. I got some pens, I got some pencils. I have two fun, like, little quickie pens, like, you know how you go and you have the pens with, like, multiple colors? I have two of those, and my two is a pink Kuromi and a cinnamon roll, because I like Hello Kitty. I also have just, erasable pens. I love erasable pens. I will be going over that later in the podcast. So, yeah, I recommend you bring your pencil case to class with you, bring your Chromebook, and make sure it's charged. The worst thing that I ever see in my time being in school is the amount of people who come in their Chromebooks aren't charged, and we have to deal with the teacher who is grumpy because you didn't do the simple thing and just plug it in. I understand if, like, you forget to plug it in. I mean, I forget to plug mine in all the time, because I just don't think about it, and I usually only plug mine in once or twice in the week. But the best thing you can do for yourself is, on Friday, when you get home from school, plug in your Chromebook. You can have it charged all weekend. And then you put it in your bag, and it lasts you 3 days, depending on which classes you take and how often you use it. luckily you'll have this guide so you can figure out when you need to. You can also figure out like when your Chromebook's about to die and when you need to plug it in. Another thing too is just bring your charger, because if you are one of those people who forgot to plug in their Chromebook or they just didn't care enough and you come to Mr. Horse's class, he has these big things over the tables that you sit at that you pull down and you plug in. He'll go over it, like he goes over it in the beginning of the school year. But one thing I've noticed is he doesn't like it when you do it while he's talking because it's really loud, which is understandable. Like, it's annoying. So that's a few things you want. You want your Chromebook. You want some pencils. He gives these things called directed readings, but that's only if, like, you're pissing him off. So don't piss off Mr. Horst. There was a student in my freshman class who pissed him off every day, almost without fail, for, like, we'd be in the middle of notes and he'd be, like, acting a fool, I think is the nicest way I want to put it. And then we ended up having so many directed readings where we were the class that ran out of directed readings. We were a smart class, don't get me wrong. He even said so himself, but he did not. So, biology. Back to the beginning. I have not taken Bio 2. I don't know anybody who has taken Bio 2, and if I have, I don't really talk to them. But you need your Chromebook, you need your pencil case. Bring something to do in your off time for classes. Whether that be other classwork or even just artwork. I used to sketch in class a lot, especially if I had nothing to do. One of the things that you may or may not have seen, unless you're a freshman, you haven't seen me do this, but one of the things you may have seen me do is I walk around with, like, yarn, and I crochet. Just recently I was walking around with a bag of, like, just a blanket that I was working on for my girlfriend, which I did end up finishing. It was awesome. But I crochet. I know other people, they bring their crochet stuff. I know Bree Kuhn did. Lady Mumford did. She would bring it to WAC. And then there was a kid in our WAC class for Allied Health. We both took Allied Health last year. And she would crochet. So we had like 3 crocheters in the class. Bring something to do. If you don't have a hobby or anything to do, find one. It's not hard. You Google. Use the search engine that everybody loves to cheat on their papers with. Also, don't cheat on your papers. Cheating on your papers is bad. So I think that just covers it for Mr. Horst's class off the top of my head. Everyone usually gives out a syllabus, but by that time you've already bought all your school supplies, so it's like annoying. So, next subject. Nope. Mrs. Cole. She teaches chemistry, physics, Bio 105, which I think is which is the SOC class. One of the things you're going to need for her is she does labs, like Mr. Horst does, only she does it differently. You need a notebook, but not just like a lined notebook. You need like a graph notebook. She requires you to have one of those. She's such a kind woman. If you end up coming into her class on the first day of school and you don't have one, she normally has like 5 or 6 that you can buy off of her for like, I think $10. I don't know. It was really cheap and I ended up buying mine off her. But, you're going to want one of those for your labs. Every day you're going to want to bring in your pencil cases. You don't often use your Chromebooks in her class. It is very rarely that you will use your Chromebook in that class. But bring it just in case. I've had times in her class where I think I've drove her up the wall during sophomore chemistry because I didn't have something that we needed. And sometimes she doesn't even let you go grab it. She just lets you sit until you have work time. But grab your notebook, grab your Chromebook, and your pencil case, because you need something to write with. She has you take notes. You take notes always. If you are not doing a lab or a worksheet, you are taking notes. So pay attention to when she gives you notes, because most of the notes saved my tuchus for her tests. Because chemistry is not easy unless you understand it. I understood maybe half of it because I paid attention. The other half was because sophomore year, I was in a rough patch, and I didn't really apply myself to school, but I still cared enough to do so. So bring a notebook. And don't bring one of these thin ones, the 70 sheets, one subject notebook. Bring a college notebook. It is okay if you have a college-ruled notebook, and at the end of the year, you somehow still have some space into it. I brought one of these things in for my sophomore chemistry, and I had to get another one. I was scraping to the bottom of the barrel for my notes in one of these little things. You don't want one of these little things. I don't care if it's $1 at the dollar store. A lot of things are $1 at the dollar store. Get a college-ruled notebook. And hey, if you have a leftover college-ruled notebook by the end of your sophomore chemistry year, you can use it for another class next year. Look at the bright side. Don't throw your stuff away. So, you're going to want your pencil case. You're going to want your graph notebook. You're going to want your regular notebook. You're also going to want a folder. And label it chemistry. I know. You always get folders and you never really need them because you don't need them for class. You want them for this class. She gives you worksheets. She gives you study guides. She gives you a chem helper, I think is what we called it. I don't have mine anymore because I haven't took another one of her classes, and I'm not taking any more of her classes. But it's a chem helper that she'll give out to you that you color code, and it has the elements of the periodic table. It also has like measurements, like conversion measurements, and how to do that, because she goes through how to do conversions with you. They're super simple. If you understand how to do fractions in math, you're going to understand how to do conversions. It's not hard. She also lets you have a calculator. Bring a calculator. Bring a calculator. There's a specific calculator that you have to have, and it's been listed on your... you should probably still have one from 6th grade. I had mine from 6th grade. I had to get a new one because mine broke. Like, I don't know what happened to mine, but, like, part of the numbers stopped coming up on the screen for me. So, it just looked like hieroglyphics on my calculator screen. Bring a calculator. Because you may not need it for math, but you're going to need it for conversions. And you use a calculator. You do. Especially for chemistry. For sophomore chemistry, you use a calculator. The other classes, I don't know. I haven't not taken those classes. Chemistry, I passed with a C. I could have gotten a B. I couldn't fully, I'm not good at math. I'm not fully good at science. I applied myself the best I could. I just didn't. So, I think that's all it sums up for it. She does have pencils in her room, and she has a pencil sharpener, but don't rely on her. Don't rely on teachers to give you supplies. Unless you can't afford it, then we understand. But if you are one of those repeat offenders who is just grabbing a pencil and then not returning it to somebody, or, I don't know, losing the pencil and then stealing more pencils, the teachers are going to run out of pencils and then they're going to hate you. Not like hate you. It's just going to be like, oh, again? Really? I do not like this. I do not like this about you. I forgot I had an Arizona iced tea next to me. I have the green one, the green tea with ginseng and honey. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. My girlfriend got me hooked on these because I just always drink the original because it's $1. Why? It's $1. So that sums it up for chemistry and for biology. I think that sums it up for every science class that I have taken. Most of it is, I don't know if you've seen a common theme in how I'm talking about this, but most of it is they give you a syllabus and you just gotta read the syllabus. And if you are missing something, get it. Not hard. But I also understand that by the time you roll up to school, you got your new book bag, you got your new pencils and all that fun jazz. It's what you do, bro. What you do. So, the next thing we are going to talk about is math. Boo hiss, boo hiss. Yay! You got mixed feelings about math. I do too. I'm not the best at it. Mr. Mac likes to tell me otherwise. I really am just not the best at math. I really ain't. Apparently I can't English either, did I? Math and I mix like oil and water. We try to coexist, we just can't. Not without a little bit of soap. And the water has to be hot. Anyways, math. Mr. Mac's classes. He has you, both of the classes, both him and Mr. Morrison, they have you bring a binder. Mr. Mac likes to say, as thick as you can handle for that binder. You're going to want a thick binder. I think he recommends having a 2-inch binder because of all the papers and the workbook he gives you. I think, yeah, it was. Cole, I'm pretty sure, had like a 3.5-inch binder, and that thing lasted him all throughout the year. You're going to want a big binder. I don't have mine because mine fell apart and I threw it away. But it was a thick boy. Well, mine wasn't a thick boy, so I had to get another binder for semester 2. My other binder, my first binder, I think, was just my geometry binder that I reused because money. And it's now holding my sheet music that I use for bass. Audio listeners, I have a bass in the background of my room. Maybe I'll bring it on the podcast and play bass. I'm not a good bass player, so yeah. You're gonna want a thick binder, thick, with 3 C's. 3 C's of thick. Get one. Do it. Otherwise, you're gonna be carrying papers around like a maniac. For Mr. Morrison, he doesn't give you a thick workbook in geometry, I think. Yeah, I don't know about trig or pre-calc. I'm enrolled in those classes. I just haven't taken them yet, so I don't know. Maybe I'll do an updated version of this episode where it's like everything you need for school. Now with all the knowledge of all the classes I've taken. Or like I'll interview people and be like, what do you need for your class? Most of them, I know what the teacher's going to say off the bat. I'm pretty sure Mrs. Schultz would be like, a good attitude, because don't have a sucky attitude. No, yes, school sucks. Nobody wants to be at school. It's boring. But I've been in a situation where I've had no school to fill my schedule and it's boring. It passes the time. And also, school it's not bad. I mean, think about it. There are people who are homeschooled and they don't have as many friends as you do because some of them are just, like, cut off from the world. It's weird. But that's not the case for all homeschoolers. I might bring a few homeschoolers that I know on the podcast. Don't attack me. I don't fully know what homeschooling is. I have friends who are homeschooled and we will interview them and it'll be fun and all jolly and great. But, back to math. You're going to want a binder. You're also, I don't know if you see this common theme, bring your pencil case to every single class. Bring your Chromebook to every single class. You may not use it a lot in Max. You don't ever use it in Max class. Like, if he sees it open, he's going to yell. He's not going to yell at you. He's going to tell you, I'm going to give you 30 seconds and then you got to put it away. If you're a repeat offender, he just tells you to put it away. You don't really need your Chromebook for his class. The only time you need it is when you're working on your portfolio, or if you're uploading stuff to Drive, or if you're turning stuff in for him because he has weekly Check Your Understandings, which you will go and upload via the copier. I will walk you through the process because I love the library copier. Not only do I know how to use copies and like make copies on the copier, I also know how to send things to myself via the copier. It's almost like a fax, but it's not. Electronic fax, I think, is the word I'm looking for. you're also gonna want Max class. You do not need a calculator. If he sees you with a calculator, he's gonna go on his rant that you don't need a calculator. Geometry, you need a calculator for SOHCAHTOA, for sin, and then for tan, and for cos. You're gonna need those. Sin, I always say sin. You're gonna need it for that. You might need it for angles. I think, yeah, you need it for angles. Because big numbers in your head, big numbers are okay in your head. If you don't need the calculator to do big numbers, great. If you do, there's nothing wrong with you. I had to use a calculator to find out what 9 plus 7 is until last year. I can't do big numbers in my head. My dad will ask me what a big number times a big number is in my head, and I'm like, I don't frickin' know. Ask the calculator on your phone. So, that's, I think that's pretty much it for math classes, binder, Chromebook, pencil case, calculator. If you are taking a test in Mr. Morrison, bring something else to do in your downtime. There are some days where he'll be like, here, it's a study hall, work on the assignment that I gave you because I know none of you have it done. Mac, you don't really have downtime in his class. He loves to use the entire 42 minutes. If you're a band kid, you know that sometimes it'll hit 10:20 and he'll finally let us pack up. He doesn't like it when we point out that it's 10:18, but we need to have 4 minutes to pack up our instruments. It's just the thing with Mac. So, I think that's about it for math classes. Now we have English. Yay! English! So, Mr. Laird's class. We're going to start with his because that's the freshman and sophomore version. And then juniors and seniors, we have Mrs. Coy. They both do it differently. I don't remember entirely what I did in Mr. Laird's class, but also I became a slacker in freshman and sophomore year. Like, I was slacking, but I wasn't. I was still caring about my work and doing it, but I just slowly didn't care. You're going to want your Chromebook. He assigns reading, so bring your book that he gives you. One of the annoying things that I have seen in both classes is we're trying to start reading time or something, and you raise your hand, and can I go grab my book? Every single day. I had a counter at one point for days without someone asking me to go grab their book, and it stayed at 0 the entire time for his class. For Mrs. Coy's class, she nobody wants to piss off Mrs. Coy. Nobody wants to piss off anybody, but especially not Mrs. Coy. She is the nicest human being. And I'm not saying this because she, is part of the GSA club or whatever, and she's our sponsor or whatever. I'm saying this because I actually care about this teacher. I care about all the teachers, but her especially. She is the nicest person I have ever met. Ever. You don't want to piss her off. She's a sweet lady. She's got 2 little kids of her own. She's got a husband, and she loves to help out students. She has had times where she's had a planning period, and she's let me she let Max send me to her class because I was having a breakdown, and she helped me through it. She talked me through it. She gives me good advice all the time. All the time. So, for Mr. Laird's class, you're going to want your Chromebook, you're going to want your pencils, you're going to want your charger, you're going to want the book that you're reading. He doesn't really have you do notes. So, I don't think you need a notebook for his class. Yeah, I don't think you need a notebook unless you do a journal. Like, if you write the journal in your notebook, then bring a notebook. He does supply those notebooks because he has a bunch of them that nobody uses. So, yeah. I don't think he gives you a lot of papers. I think it's mostly electronic. It's been a year since I've taken his classes. And even then in his classes, it was mostly just drama fest in my time. I had a class where there was something going on all the time. People were starting drama left and right. I was one of those people. I wasn't starting drama. I just would get involved when I didn't need to be. And to those involved, I'm sorry. I'm a jerk. I'm not always a jerk, but you get the point. What is... Oh, Mrs. Coy's class. She supplies the binders because you use them to, like, put your work in. She wants you to put all your work in and save it. But, if you want to just save her the hassle, just get a binder. Get the same type of binder that you get for Mr. Mack and Mr. Morrison's classes. Don't get a plastic binder. I forgot to say this. Get a plastic binder. For both classes, get a plastic binder. I got a paper binder, and it sucks. At the end of the year, it was falling apart on me. It was cardboard, and it was, like, cardboard and, like, I don't know. It was a weird binder. It fell apart on me. Get a plastic binder. But do not overload the pockets of your plastic binder, or you're going to break them. I know. I have. I may seem like a good kid and all that, but I have broken so many binders. I don't know how. I don't know why. It's probably because I shove them in my book bag and don't care. Or I shove them in my locker. I've broken so many binders. Just don't do it. It saves yourself so much money and so much hassle. Now, Mrs. Coy also, you're going to want a book for reading, unless she assigns you a book, and then you're going to want to have the reading book. Juniors, she starts you on All American Boys, and then after that, you'll read, I think, you'll go All American Boys, then you'll read Into the Wild, and then after Into the Wild, you'll read Fahrenheit 451. Then after Fahrenheit 451, you will read The Great Gatsby. I think are the 4 that she has you read. Yeah. Those are the 4... Excuse me, sorry, voice crack. Those are the 4 that I remember of last year that she had us read. Other than that, bring your own personal book. Bring your Chromebook and bring it charged, or bring your charger. If you are one of those people, I'm going to say this again, if you are one of those people who just can't plug in a Chromebook, bring your charger to school. Keep it in your book bag, bring it to school. I don't bring my charger to school because I have it plugged in on my floor all the time. If I don't have that one plugged in, I have my laptop plugged in, which is the one that I'm recording off of. Hello! Bring your Chromebook charged. Bring a the binder you can take out of the room, but she has a shelf that you can keep it on in there, which is really helpful. Love Mrs. Coy. Bring your pencils. Bring a book. If you want to, bring a binder, like a folder to keep stuff in. Especially if you're doing an essay, bring a folder and keep the rubric in it. What I did this year, which helped but also didn't, was I brought a folder for every single class, and one side had uncompleted work and the other side had completed work. I ended up getting it mixed up and all in a jazz, but it was all in that folder, and I carried that folder around like a baby. I think I had to trash that folder too. The moral of the story is whatever helps you in your classes survive, school supplies wise, do it. This is just what works for me. It's not going to work for you if that's not how you are. Everything works differently. Everybody works differently. Everyone learns differently. Everyone has their own way of doing things. This is why this is Earth. This is why this is diversity. This is why we have so many people of shapes and sizes and colors and orientations and ethnicities, and I already said color and religion and all that fun jazz. Whatever works for you is cool. If you end up taking my advice and using it and it works super well because I'm really experienced, then yay. That's the point of this. That's the point of this whole entire podcast. It's not just a whole hotspot of this is the school and we're going to talk bad. No, we're going to voice our opinions in a nice and calm and civil manner. because I have my own opinions about the school, and I have my own opinions about people, but I'm going to voice them in a kind and civil manner. Like, it's, you just, whatever works for you, kiddo. Or whatever works for you, buddy. Depends on who's listening. If you're younger than me, I usually call you kiddo. I do that. That's a weird thing. Mostly I just call people friends. I'm like, hi, friends. I stopped doing that after a little while, but only with my friends. I'm like, hello, friends. Hello, hello, hello. I think that really just covers it for all of the 4 main subjects for each different teacher. Oh, history! I almost forgot. I'm sorry. I'm so used to, like, science and, like, history being roped together, but, like, I also am used to, like, not having to think about what I need to bring to class. Let's go over Mrs. Wolber's class. Mrs. Wolber, also known as Miss Jolander or Miss G, she was there for my freshman and my sophomore. She got married during the summer of last school year. So, basically, she came to us, and then sophomore year, she said she was getting married. And now she is married, so now her name is Mrs. Wolber. She is awesome. She's awesome. I lost my train of thought, so I'm stalling. One thing that you are going to need in her class is, once again, your Chromebook. You're going to need some pencils. She doesn't really do notes, per se. She usually gives out, like, guided readings. That she has you do, or she'll have you do, like, I don't know if it was called a bell ringer. No, that's Mr. Barger's class. Mostly you have, what is it? I switched headphones, sorry. She mostly has you do, like, online work, but she'll give you out papers and she'll go over, like, things in class. So I don't think I never used a notebook in her class, ever. I don't remember a single time I used a notebook in her class. Bring something to do when you have downtime if you don't have any schoolwork going on. Once again, I would bring crochet stuff. I bring a book. I bring whatever I'm in the mood for, basically. So, Mr. Barger's class. I've only had one class. Again, I am a senior and I'm taking American Government today. Not exactly today, but I am taking American Government when we start up the school year again. And I'm taking his econ class. So I have no clue what to get for those classes, but I have been in Mr. Barger's classes, so I can guess what you need. You don't need a notebook. He tells you this at the beginning of the year. You do not need a notebook to take notes. He gives you a guideline, like an outline, every single, like, for example, if you're going through the Cold War, he gives you an outline. But he doesn't start at the Cold War, obviously. He actually starts at the beginning. So, like, the colonization of America. And then we ended at, like, the Cold War because we ran out of time. But he wanted to end at Vietnam. I think was Vietnam part of the Cold War? I don't know. I'm so sorry, Mr. Barger. I promise I learned something. I have bad memory. You're gonna want your Chromebook. You're gonna want to have a folder labeled history that you're gonna keep all your outlines and your study guides in. When he is talking in the middle of class, you will find that his slideshows don't always, like, they don't line up. They do line up with the outline, but there are things on the slideshow that are not on the outline. If you find those, jot them down. Do not space out. I know as someone who has ADHD, it's hard to not space out in his class. It's hard not to be boring because it's just so boring. Because lecture. Don't space out. it's once you listen and once you lock in and once you listen to him, you'll find the things he says are kind of interesting. He makes it interesting. And it'll help you so much on the test. My test scores were better when I was actually paying attention than when I wasn't. I think that's about it for his class. Bring something to do in your downtime, obviously. Every single class you take, you're going to want to bring something to do in your downtime. Some classes, you'll know when they have downtime. Some classes, you won't. It's just how it is. For those classes, some of them have downtime, some of them don't. Mr. Barker's, he cuts off around 6 to 7 minutes before the end of class for his lectures so that he has time to kick off at the slideshow on the next day. So you're going to have 6 to 7 minutes of downtime. Work on something. He'll give you worksheets too. They're not bad. Most of the classes that I have also talked about, English doesn't have a textbook, but the rest of the three, they'll give you a textbook or they'll give you an electronic copy of it. Mr. Barker, he'll post a weekly agenda over what we're going to be doing, and then he'll post links to the slides and he'll post links. Use them. Utilize them, especially when you're studying for the test at last minute. Also, don't do that. Don't study last minute. Unless that works for you. I don't know. I just gave backward advice. My bad. Did I mention I'm not that good at this? What is another thing that I can go over? Gym/weightlifting. I have not had a class with Miss Minert. I've had her as a sub. I've had Mr. German as a sub. I mostly have had Mr. Culbertson for my gym classes. This year it's different. This year I have Mrs. Minert. I have no clue. It's a whole different ball game, folks. But here's one thing that I have noticed. Wear your gym clothes. I understand. They're not fashionable. They're not comfortable. Some of them are so old they have holes in the armpits. Just wear them. They offer you to buy another PE kit, which is the gym shirt and shorts, every single year if you need to reorder them. Usually, I know my parent does this. They'll come up to me. They'll be like, hey, do you need a new PE kit? And I'm like, no. Mine are fine. It works fine. Still has my name on it. Still has my letters on it. They still work. Bring your clothes. Keep them in your locker. Lock your lockers. That is one of the biggest things you're going to hear. Lock your stinking lockers. My freshman year, a lot of us didn't lock our lockers because we had a guaranteed trust around each other. Then things started going missing. So then what they did was they put an alarm on that door that you're going to see. So when you walk into the locker room, you're going to see a door that says, do not, emergency exit, a alarm will sound. That is the door to the girls' bathroom. We used to go through the girls' bathroom and then go to the locker room that way. It was a very efficient way of going into the locker room. But then people started stealing things out of others' lockers. Lainey got her Cheez-Its stolen. Someone got their perfume stolen. Every year, it's someone stole this out of my locker. Someone stole this out of my locker. Keep your lockers locked. Or do what I do. What I do is I don't bring anything important, to me, so I don't bring any perfume. I understand you want to smell good after gym. Deodorant. That's all you need. You just need deodorant. I use spray deodorant, and I usually try to hide it in my clothes so that when you open my locker, you just see clothes. Because I'm telling you to lock your lockers, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've never really had to lock my locker because nobody has ever tried to steal from me. The most I've had in my locker this year was my scrubs for WAC because my Allied Health, you do clinicals on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I needed my scrubs in my locker because before lunch ended, I would go in there, I'd change, and then I'd head out to the bus. I kept my scrubs in there. I also kept my shoes in there. My clinical shoes, because for the clinical shoes, you gotta have white shoes. And I think I kept a bag worth of, I kept a bag in there, and it had, like, some tampons and all other feminine things in there. But just lock your lockers. It's annoying. You gotta remember another locker combination, but if you're gonna have something nice in your locker, like perfume, or, what is it? Perfume, body spray, shampoo, conditioner, soap, a nice towel that grandma knitted you, just keep it in your locker. Keep it in your locker and lock it. Not hard. What I've done is I take my phone and oh, someone texted me. Yeah, I got paid! Guys, I got paid! Woo woo! So I take my phone. This is my phone. Sorry, audio listeners again. I take my phone and I pop out my phone case and I put it on the back of my phone. Like, this sticker is messed up from my locker combination being in the back of it, because if I always have my phone on me. Always. It's always in my pocket. It always stays in my pocket and just chills. Okay? And, what is it? That way, because I know all of you either have a phone or just, like, have something that you carry on you. Keep it in the back of your phone case. That way, if you are locking your locker and you forgot your combo, you just pop out your phone case. Alright? So, what are other things you're going to want in your locker? I kind of already said it. Deodorant. You're going to want deodorant. I don't like stick deodorant. I don't like how it feels. To each his own. Bring a stick of deodorant. Bring some spray deodorant. Do not share deodorant with your friends. Especially if it's a stick. I understand, hey, who can I throw under the bus? Jimmy forgot his deodorant. So, hand him your spray deodorant. My problem was someone found out that I had spray deodorant, and I had a little tiny Dove can of spray deodorant that costed me, I think, $6.50. No, $7.50 for that little can. And I had it, and someone used it all on me. You should also just lock your locker. That was my lock your locker lesson for this year, because I usually never really had to lock my locker. Don't share your deodorant is my personal advice, because it lasts you longer. Also, deodorant is expensive. It's very expensive. I should know. I buy my own. But if you end up sharing your deodorant, that's your call. I know some people like to bring perfume to spritz on themselves before they go back to class. As someone who owns perfume and then never touches it or uses it unless it's in the morning, I don't. So if you want to bring perfume, bring perfume. I don't know of a single person who showers in those showers. The only time I have used those showers is during band camp. And even then, the showers smelled really weird. Like, the water was really weird over the summer. I don't know what they do to the pipes and their water supply at the school over the summer. But, like, we were using the water, and it turned brown. It was weird. Obviously, it didn't turn brown, like, when the school started back up. But it was a weird experience. What was another thing? Bring a change of anything you might need, whether it's a change of shirt, pants, underwear, if you're a woman, a bra, socks. I know. It's awkward to talk about these things. But sometimes you have accidents. Sometimes you bleed through. Sometimes you pee your pants. Sometimes you're wearing a shirt in the middle of fax class and you don't use an apron, which, I mean, joke's on you. You should have used an apron. You don't use an apron and you spill all over down your shirt. Or you're eating lunch and you spill all over down your shirt. Bring a change of clothes to prepare yourself for those. And then take your clothes home with your gym clothes and wash them. Wash your gym clothes at least weekly, if not weekly, like bi-weekly. It depends on how much you sweat. It depends on how much you use them, which you should be using them every day because gym is a required class. Yeah. I like bringing a towel or like bringing. I used to bring a towel because there's no paper towels in the locker room, so I would use it to wipe my hands after washing my hands because blow dryers are cool, but they also spread germs. Like, it's actually more sanitary to use paper towels than it is blow dryers because they blow the germs all over. Also, they're super loud. That's why nobody uses them. They're super loud. I think that's it for most of the classes that I have ever taken. I can think of a few electives that I can talk about that you want to bring things to. Art. They don't really tell you this. Bring a sketch pad because she has you submit like sketch pad stuff. Band, bring whatever you need for your next class and your instruments. What was another thing? I don't really know. Electives, you kind of just gotta go with the flow and figure out what you need. Most of them you need your Chromebook in, especially yearbook and facts class, because you need your Chromebook. And the next thing I guess we can talk about is utilizing your time in school. Now, we only get 3 minutes for passing period, and sometimes that's just a simple walk to the next class. It depends on how far away you have to go. Let's see. So for my next class, so I'm looking at my schedule again, and my first class is bio, and then my second class is with Mr. Morrison. They gave me a math class during second period again. I just realized that again. This year I had English to math class. It wasn't math class. But that's just like from this end of the school down to this end of the school. Far ends. That's going to be my 3 minutes. If I'm lucky. Walking. It's not a long time to go to the bathroom. Everybody knows this. So what I usually do is I hurry off to my next class and I talk to the teacher. I say, hey, can I run to the bathroom real quick? And they'll go, yeah, sure, go ahead. Just try to be back before the bell. And if you're like a minute or two behind, they know you were in the bathroom. You're fine. Don't dilly-dally. I usually use passing period to check my phone because I get notifications all the time, whether it's work-related, whether it's email-related, whether it's someone texting me. I check my phone during passing period. It just saves me the strife of pulling it out during class and checking it. Because if they catch you with your phone, you lose it. It's that simple. I'm sorry. My class kind of ruined it. It wasn't me, because I just kept my phone in my pocket at all times. But there were some people in my class that ruined it, I think is what happened. Because freshman year, we were allowed to have our phones in classes. But it became a problem, so they got rid of it. If you need to fill up your water bottle, I do the same thing with the bathroom situation. Go to your next class, be like, hey, can I go fill up my water bottle? They're gonna say yes most of the time. Go fill up your water bottle. Go back to class. It's fun to dilly-dally in the halls. But also, people are gonna notice if you dilly-dally in the halls. Like, if you go to fill up your water bottle and then you go to another class and you start talking to the teacher, they're gonna notice. And then they're not gonna let you go. Like, don't dilly-dally. Some other upcoming advice, mostly freshmen, just don't be a jerk. Seniors, don't be a jerk. Don't be a jerk is the number one rule of high school. There are upperclassmen who get annoyed by younger classmen because they're nothing but loud and jerks. And it's like, you have to take a deep breath and be like, I was that jerk once, but don't be a jerk. Just don't. I understand you were an 8th grader and you were the top of the school, top dog at the other school, but now you're on the totem pole, you're bottom on the totem pole again. Well, it doesn't matter. it really doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Just take a chill pill. Enjoy your time at high school. It goes by super quick. It goes by fast, and you're gonna love it. So I guess this is about to wrap it up. This is top of the hour. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast, this first ever episode. I hope you guys enjoy most of my episodes because it is top of the hour, even though I am ending it a little bit early. I want to do this thing where I shout out some people at our school, and the only person I can think of to shout out is Mrs. Minert. She won a teacher's award this year, towards the end of the school year, for being, like, the best teacher ever, I think is what it was. I'm gonna get a trophy and, like, put that on there and give it to her. But, it was, like, a For You charity, I think, event thing, where she won it for being, like, teacher of the year. She was, like, a teacher of the month at one point. She really is a awesome lady. She does driver's ed and she does health. I forgot to go over those, but those are super simple. Just bring your Chromebook. She is strict. She's also the gym teacher, BTW. She's super strict, but it's because she cares. She's also student council. She's one of the student council sponsors, her and Miss Wilbur. It was Mrs. Cole, but then Miss Wilbur took over, for Mrs. Cole. I don't know why. Probably just a personal opinion, a personal thing. She is awesome to talk to. I remember, 8th hour she would have a gym class, and I would come in because I was a WAC kid, so WAC kids, you have your gym during homeroom. Don't dilly-dally, because you don't get a lot of time to do your gym, but you get your credit. She and I would sit and we'd talk, like, just briefly, because I had to get to my next class. But I'd be like, hey, Mrs. Minor, guess what? And she'd be like, what's up? And I'm like, I'm in my phlebotomy thing. And she was like, oh my god, that's awesome. One day, I ended up spooking her, because we are allowed to take the vials of blood home. I'd take it home for a day, and then I would go back to my WAC class and throw it in the, sharps container, because that's the biohazard bin, and I wasn't comfortable just throwing it away. But I'd show her, and she'd be like, oh my god, gross. She does not like blood, but I loved talking to her about, like, hey, I'm about to get certified. Hey, I got certified. She also helps you become a really great driver. I've sat in the car with many PCHS students, and not one of them have been an idiot because of her. Like, she's strict on it. She does not give you any leeway. But it's for a good reason. It's because she wants us to be safe. Motor vehicle accidents are mostly I think it's the second cause of death for adolescents is motor vehicle accidents. The first one is obviously suicide. But, Miss Minor, this is the first episode. This is your first shout out. You may have more after that. Thanks for being a good human. We love you. And to all my listeners, I love you too. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I'm going to go ahead and take a drink because I've been talking for an hour. So, I guess I'll see you guys on the flippity flip flap, and stay cool, my funky felines.